Aye, laddies. It's a cold and rainy morning with a nice cup of coffee, and we're going home to the Isle of Arainn. You're watching Barber Dave's Shaves and Such. Hey everybody, welcome back. I know my Scottish accent ain't the greatest, but guess what? That's where the Imaginarium is going. Welcome to day 3 of the Imaginarium, and we're going to Scotland, and we're going to the Isle of Arainn. And this was a fun one, and just a little bit about myself. I come from German-Scottish descent, German on my grandfather's side, and Scottish on my grandmother's side. In fact, she came over and the last name was McLachlan, and I'm wearing my Clan McLachlan shirt. And on the other side, on the Puerto Rican side of me, my mom was born in Puerto Rico. However, her mom was born in Valencia, Spain, to 2 parents who were Spanish and Italian. And then my uncle, Colon, or my grandfather, Colon, is actually a distant relative of Christopher Columbus. So I'm a mishmash. But anyhow, so I hope you guys are enjoying the Imaginarium. I really, really love some of the comments that I'm seeing. I'm trying to take you to a place from an imagination side that would be kind of fun. But before we get started, please don't forget www.theshavingcadre.com. Come and see us. We'd certainly appreciate it. And right over here, Drinks and Dave's. Our new shows are going to be on Tuesdays at 6 p.m. starting next week. Okay, so let's get started with today's shave. I've got a really neat thing in when I speed up the shaves, a kind of a, well, you'll just have to see it. And what's weird is it was sunny and about 107 here yesterday. And I woke up this morning and it was misty, it was rainy, it was cool, relatively speaking. And it really reminded me of the Lochranza area of Scotland. And that brings us to what we're using today. Arainn Aromatics, Lochranza. This is a place on the Isle of Arainn. Lots of sea salt, seabirds, mist and smoke, and it's just a wonderful, wonderful fragrance. Anise, patchouli, sea salt, all kinds of stuff. And it comes in these really, really cool fake stone bowls. And these things weigh probably about 3 pounds. But these are the stones that you'd find along the coast of either Mathry or Lochranza. So that's what we're using today. No other razor would be appropriate except for the Jerry Stark Viking with that beautiful barbed wire Damascus. So we're going to be using that. And this is a fun razor. Sticking in the Isles, we're going to be using a Morrison Fordran Apollina. Now this brush is a love-hate relationship because sometimes it's a soap eater. Sometimes it works very, very well. You do have to load the soap like crazy to get it to work well. Now, fortunately, the Arainn Aromatics is a good soap, but, you know, I loaded this thing for probably 2 minutes, and it's still wanting to hold on to the soap. I'll add some water, see if we can get it to release a little bit. So I hope everybody's doing very well today. This little misty rainstorm was a nice surprise and a break to the heat because it's mid-morning now and it's still in the mid to low 70s, so it's beautiful. And it really is, it's misty outside. It started raining last night and then about 5 this morning we got some thunderstorms. But the clouds are hanging low up against the mountains, and it really does look kind of like the Scottish Highlands, which is kind of cool. It kind of makes it perfect for this day 3 of the Imaginarium. There we go. One more little bit of water, and we'll be good to go. There we go. And this brush has got a very densely packed Lee Sabini knot, so I think that that's part of the reason why she can be such a lather hog. But once it's right, it's right. Plus, I think what happens is people, at least I'm one of them, gets very, very dependent on synthetics because synthetics are so easy, you know, wet and go. Okay, let's see what happens. Now this, like I said, the Jerry Stark 6/8, that point is not muted. So This is one I have to be very careful with. I always have to be cognizant where that point is. So make sure, you know, when you're using a point, especially one that's unmuted, that you definitely lock your wrist and use that as a fulcrum, because that way you don't have that lateral movement. And what I have a tendency to do is probably use more of the tail of the blade rather than the toe when I'm doing that, because of that point. In certain spots, obviously. Okay, very, very nice first pass. Oh yeah, just beautiful. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and speed up the video here, because you guys have seen me shave enough. And just imagine, you know, being on the Isle of Arainn in the town of Lochranza, at Loch Lochranza, in the castle. And take a listen to this. It's called The Clan Remembers. See you in a few minutes.
The Clan Remembers. Listen for a while to a story I shall tell, for all our clansmen far and near, wherever they may dwell. I'll tell you of the castle, and the chief who lives within, and the mighty gathering of the clan who came to be with him. There was fiddling on the gantry and piping from the tower, a bonfire on the old quayside, and dancing for an hour. Clansfolk gathered round him, filled with parliamentary glee. They'd come away across to Skye, their great chief for to see. Not least among the clansmen was Sordal standing there, leaning on his carven crook, with wise and seasoned air. He'd spin a tale, a story old, of kilts and pipes and dearth, and with a twinkling in his eye, he'd fill the crowd with mirth. High on the cliff around the bay, upon a wind-swept crag, MacCrimmon built his piping school at ancient Borreraig. From here our greatest pipers come, their music fine and old, the cuimhne, the pibroch, now famous round the world. There was fiddling on the gantry and piping from the tower, a bonfire on the old quayside and dancing for an hour, and clansfolk gathered round him filled with parliamentary glee. They'd come away across to Skye, their great chief for to see. One night in celebration, the fireworks filled the air. Across the loch at Borreraig, you'd see the glow from there. The local folk in disbelief will wonder at the sight. 'Tis the wee folk at the castle, we could see the fairy lights. And don't forget the clansman, they called him Chinneadh Mór, a tall and awesome guardian who'd protect the southern shore. And when the western gales lashed, if longboats came, he'd grin, for nothing could deter him on his 3 sheets to the wind. There was fiddling on the gantry and piping from the tower, a bonfire on the old quayside and dancing for an hour, and clansfolk gathered round him filled with parliamentary glee. They'd come away across to Skye, their great chief for to see. And far from out the west comes a man called Uliam Moore, who well shall be remembered for the cannon that he bore. The old gun yard resounded with his cracking instrument, and the castle hallways echoed as the village forth was sent. Then the blood of energy, the youngsters of the clan, came tripping to the quayside, each with a torch in hand. Up to the pyre each one advanced, and set it all ablaze, and bright red glowed the castle as it shimmered in the haze. There was fiddling on the gantry and piping from the tower, a bonfire on the old quayside and dancing for an hour, and clansfolk gathered round him filled with parliamentary glee. They'd come away across to Skye, their great chief for to see. Now one and all let's contemplate the passing of the dame. Let's build a fine memorial to glorify her name. Let it fill our clan with pride, enrich the memory, and so for Flora, John and Hugh, let there always be a fiddling on the gantry and piping from the tower, a bonfire on the old quayside and dancing for an hour, we clansfolk gathered round him, filled with parliamentary glee, will come away across to Skye, our great chief for to see.
Okay, everybody, we're back. Hope you enjoyed that little poem about the clan remembers with all the music that goes along with it. I think it really transports you to Scotland. Real good shave today. That blade is just super, super sharp. A little bit of an alum buzz, but I caught myself with the tip, as I told you not to do. But that happens with that razor every once in a while, but it really didn't amount to much. This brush, even though it lathered well, it has still got a ton of soap in it. So we'll let that. Today we're going to use, I think we'll use Thayer's lavender again. Just because it's fairly mild and it won't affect the rest of the fragrances, because we're actually using 2 EDTs today, because I really want to smell like a Scot. Well, because one of them means a ton to me. Okay, I don't use balms that often, but when I do, they're matchy-matchy, and this is the Lochranza balm. It doesn't require much. That much is all you need. And it emulsifies pretty quick on a reasonably damp face. Oh yeah, the fragrance of the Lochranza is sea, anise, patchouli. You get, when those mix together, you get the smokiness of fire, and the sea salt and the greenery and the moss, and it's just it feels like Scotland. It is just super nice. We'll let that dry down for a little bit. So we'll go over everything again just real quick. The Jerry Stark Viking 6/8 and barbed wire Damascus with just these beautiful scales, and then a wood wedge. The soap today in this wonderful, wonderful bowl, Arainn Aromatics Lochranza. They only have 2, Lochranza and Macri. I suggest you get them. I think you can get most of the stuff through Bull Goose, but you can also order it through some of the Scottish importers and stuff like that. You saw the balm, and for the talc today, we're going to be using Yardley Gold again because it's got a nice kind of just a little bit of a spice, but it really enhances the saltiness. You can actually, it's got a little bit of a salty tinge to it. Okay. The first EDT today is we're going to be using the namesake Lochranza. And it is just, like I said, it's just wonderful. And it's definitely much more of the sea. Definitely, it smells a lot like a Speyside Scotch. But it does have that little smokiness, that greenery to it, peat, just a wonderful, wonderful thing. And then our final eau de parfum today is something that was picked up for me in England at Flores by Nurse Dave when he was there. And this is just amazing. They don't make this anymore as far as I know. But this adds the real peat smokiness of the Islay version of Scotch. And it's just, it's incredible. Absolutely incredible. So, folks, I hope that little Imaginarium took you to Scotland. We certainly appreciate you joining us. Next week, we're still kind of coming up with what we're going to do for the Imaginarium. I've got one ready to go, and then I got to start making stuff up. So if you have any ideas on places that you would like to be transported to in the Imaginarium, let me know. Anyways, thank you so much. We're at 1,097, guys. Three more subscribers, and we're going to do a giveaway. So we'll announce that next week, maybe in one of my shorts on the community blog. And don't forget, you can follow my shaves throughout the week on the community part of this, where I just do it from a text standpoint. So anyhow, I'm Dave. This has been Barber Dave Shaves and such, and I hope everybody has a fantastic remainder of the week, and we will see you next Sunday for another trip into the Imaginarium. Take care, everybody.